The walking weapon, Josh Alexander. Thank you for joining us, Josh. How are you?
I'm great, man. Happy to be here.
It's our pleasure, mate. It's our pleasure. How's your day been? How's life treating you today?
I mean, we're heading into more strict lockdowns, actually today and tomorrow. So, things are getting a little interesting. You got to go to the grocery store. You got to handle all that before that happens. We're pretty much locked up until Christmas at least.
Yeah, we're in a very similar situation right now. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the UK and what's going on here, but a couple of weeks ago we'd already been in a national lockdown, and now we're doing regional lockdowns, and we're in the highest one. So like yourself, if you need to get your shopping done, you do it all at once. There's no going for walks to the park or anything. It's just staying in your house. So
yeah.
Not great.
I have two young kids too, and it's really taxing with them. If I didn't have kids, I don't think I'd really notice this much, because I'd be chilling on my couch playing video games or watching Netflix. But I got to entertain a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old somehow.
I'm in this house by myself every day. I haven't really done anything apart from watch Netflix, YouTube, and play games. And it does actually get boring after a while. I didn't think it would. I didn't think I'd ever get bored of it, but after about a week or two, I was like, I actually miss people, and I don't usually like people that much, but I miss interacting with people. So these interviews are kind of keeping us going a bit, keeping me sane.
Yeah. You need interpersonal conversation and stuff. You need something.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert myself, so.
Yeah, but you realize you do need it. I never thought I would get to that point, but here I am, fed up of playing video games.
Yeah, I feel for you both. I mean, I work at the hospital, Josh, so I'm still going to work every day. So I look forward to getting that weekend break and having a couple of days off. But I can imagine it'd drive you crazy, like Callum said. Just being stuck in the house, it must be insane. But enough about the pandemic.
Yeah, I was going to say, not to make this the pandemic podcast, but you guys are in the UK, and just a real quick question for me. In Canada right now, the big topic in the news and everywhere is the vaccine. It's coming out in 3 to 6 months here for frontline workers, and then 6 months after for general population. But in the UK, I guess it's got approved already. So people are kind of watching the UK to be are people going to start growing tails, or know what I mean? Everyone's concerned. So has there been anything crazy with that?
Jamie actually works at the hospital, don't you, Jamie? So you're getting the vaccine first.
Yeah, it's all good. We the hospital I work at, we started the rollout on Wednesday, and it's been good, all good, no issues. No one's grown a second head or a third leg. It's looking good. Our government are hoping we can be back to some kind of normal around April time. So fingers crossed we will be. But yeah, the vaccine, so far so good, man. No complaints so far. So
everybody's very optimistic for a springtime indie shows come back. I'm dying.
It seems crazy, doesn't it, to imagine? I can't imagine wrestling pre-COVID anymore. It's almost like it's been rewritten in my brain, where every show has had either TV monitors with faces on or no crowds, and it just seems crazy to think WrestleMania has 100,000 people there, or anything past 1,000 people being in attendance just seems unbelievable. So imagine when it does get back to that, how good it's going to feel. There's going to be a boom period in wrestling when it comes back.
I think a boom in everything. People are just going to be doing everything they possibly might not have done before COVID, thinking they had more time. What if this happens again in 5 years? People are just going to be going on vacations. They're going to be doing everything they can to have fun now. They're going to live for the moment.
That's the silver lining to it, I guess, isn't it? Like you said, living for the moment. Hopefully it makes some people appreciate what we had pre-COVID.
Yeah, I definitely didn't appreciate it as much, and I didn't realize it could be taken away so easily.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing. Like I said, I mean, our government is saying April, but I'll wait till April comes around, then we'll see where we're at then. But fingers crossed,
Absolutely.
Everything. Speaking of, obviously, the pandemic and that, what's it like being for you? How do you adjust, obviously, wrestling in front of fans to wrestling not in front of fans? I mean, do you have to adjust and look at your matches differently?
I always make the joke that I'm a big indie wrestler. I've had a nearly 16-year career now. I'm in my 16th year now, and I've had plenty of experience on small independent shows in front of. So, and I've also ran a training school where I have training matches with my students all the time. So, like, the more experience you have, I think you have you have an ear for what the timing and everything that involved in wrestling, where you don't need the crowd there. You can assume that the crowd will react this way and do that. And it's all kind of like a weird dance. I definitely don't enjoy it. I 100% would rather have I did an independent show in August, and it was the first one that had crowds since the March shutdown. And there was only 30 people in the building, but that 30 people felt like, 5,000 in Madison Square Garden when I wrestled for AAA. It was monumental, the difference. And it is definitely an adjustment, but I don't know. You get accustomed to everything. It's new challenges.
Yeah. And like you said, imagine when we do have crowds back, it'll seem crazy. Like if that 30 people seem like 5,000, when Impact is back to, the usual crowds that we're pulling, that's going to seem like 100,000 people. It's going to be crazy. But there is one thing that is testament to you is, and I've realized it now you pointed it out, you said that it's not really any different to you because you have these training matches with no people. You've done the smaller crowds. When I was watching your match with Chris Sabin recently, I did actually realize how it was one of the only matches I've seen where there's been no crowd, where I actually forgot about it for that entire match. Like the in-ring action was so good that I didn't actually need the crowd to be there to, usually as a fan watching, you're feeding off the crowd as like you are in the ring. But the in-ring action was so good that I was actually just focused on that. So and there's only been a few times that's happened over the pandemic era where I've actually been fully invested. So yeah, it is a challenge, but you're obviously ready for that challenge. And I can only imagine you're keen to get back to some kind of normality.
Yeah, but you just paid me a tremendous compliment, because I find I've had this conversation with Ethan Page where this no crowd thing, especially for Impact tapings, where it's just the commentary noise, really. I find that this era is really gonna put the microscope on the in-ring action, and that's something that I've always kind of tried to push for myself for so long. I don't want any holes in my game. I don't want you're noticing everything because you don't have the crowd as a distraction, so you're really paying attention to what's happening in the ring. And I think that's where I stand out. So this has been something that I think has helped me in this past year. And even Page
on backbreaker you gave Sid. I love that move anyway, but it never fails to make me cringe. And when you gave it to him, I was like, Jesus, that looked real, because like you said, everyone's under the microscope at the moment. You can pick up on any mistakes or mistimings easier. But when you're watching somebody who's still at the top of the game, even though there's no crowd there, and everything still looks nice and crisp, you can still enjoy it as much as a fan. You don't get me wrong, I miss being a fan, and I miss the fans being there too, but it's not necessary in the enjoyment of a match.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, you mentioned Ethan as well, so we're going to have to mention him out, because Callum goes back and forth on Twitter with Ethan Page a lot, because he thinks he looks like Ethan Page. And
when I shave my beard a bit, there's pictures of me where it's a bit weird. I used that Reface app, and I put my face on Ethan Page, and I didn't actually realize it had changed. So I sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh, you're a handsome dude," and I was like, all right, that's the best compliment I've had in my life. Ethan Page said I'm handsome. So putting that in my Twitter bio.
You put that Jack Sparrow beard on, and then you're
he's basically me if I was on the gas, that would be
me. Yeah.
But obviously with Ethan, your journey with Ethan's been quite a long one. It hasn't just been Impact the North, has it? I mean, how long have you and Ethan have been friends and have been teaming together?
10 years. He started Alpha One just over 10 years ago, and I worked his first show. And he didn't want to book me because he didn't like me. He knew I was good, but he didn't like me. But he booked me out of necessity, and we became best friends like immediately. And then it's just been crazy since then.
And it started off with him not liking you, but now you're best friends. That's quite a story there. I mean, what won him round in the end? Was it just that you were too good that he couldn't deny it anymore? He had to book you, or?
I think he just got to know me, and as he wasn't a wrestler anymore, now he was a promoter as well, and he realized that just booking me for his startup indie show, I was the guy that was going to show up every time and give 150%, and kill myself trying to have the best match on the card every time, and that's like such a value to a promoter that you can't find everywhere, because a lot of guys just come in and do their stuff and like get out and try to get by. And I would just push the envelope every single time, especially then. I was just trying to get noticed every single show I had, no matter how small. Like I thought somebody might see something, regardless every time. So, it just started from there.
One thing I've really found interesting recently is, especially with the hint at a crossover between AEW and Impact, is the dream match that people want to see more than anything. You've got all those possible dream matches. We even did a poll on our Twitter page, and the top match with, I think it was over 60 of maybe 500, was FTR versus the North. And that's the match people want to see. That's the money match. What are your feelings on, say, wrestling FTR, for example, doing that kind of crossover match?
I mean, I want that tag match. Like, as a fan of professional wrestling, as a fan of tag team wrestling, I've been a fan of FTR for years.
Yeah.
They were showing up in NXT wrestling American Alpha, and like those tag matches were blowing my mind because I'd never seen that stuff out of like Jordan and Gable. And then, they show up and like they're on the map like that. And then there's stuff with Tommaso and Gargano, and everything they've done is just like a throwback to tag team wrestling, and they execute it very well. Like I'm a big fan as a fan of them. But then the North, we came in Impact Wrestling, Ethan Page literally floundering before I showed up. We got thrown together as a tag team, and we looked at each other, and we know each other. We know we're a great tag team, and we knew that we could change the game. Mm-hmm. So that was our goal from like the get-go. We know, like, I don't think I'm breaking any like news here. We know we're a better tag team than the Motor City Machine Guns, regardless of if people think they're better. We know if you put that under a microscope and you really look at them, no matter how cool they might look, we are a better tag team. So like, we knew that we could eclipse all these guys from Impact history, and we did in 2 years. Like, it's crazy. We were down in the history books as the greatest tag team in that company's history. It's not just something we say in a promo. It's something people finally realize. And like, I think that's why when you look at AEW, regardless of them being the tag team champions there right now, FTR is kind of renowned as being the old school tag team that like, and like matching us up versus them is just, I can easily see how it's a dream match.
Oh, absolutely. Like I for some reason I thought when I put up the poll that a lot of people would vote for the Young Bucks based out of popularity, like the North versus the Young Bucks. But when you break it down, you've got two teams who are like the epitome of tag team wrestling. You actually hold on to the tag rope, for example. You do tag team maneuvers. You work together as a team. You're not just doing moves for the sake of it, so to speak. So when you think about it, that is the dream match. The two very best tag teams in pro wrestling going against each other, both representing their respective companies, finding out who's the best team in the world. That would be incredible to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And like this whole crossover thing, I don't know what's happening with it. Like, people don't tell me anything. I didn't even know that was happening until it happened. But like, I just think it's like a throwback to the NWA days. Like this thing that Kenny's talking about, wanting to win all the belts. It just sounds like, you want to like just like make one giant championship and then tour the world with it as like the main event guy. Like that would be my dream that happens from all this. But like, I don't know what's going to happen. If that happens, then maybe tag teams can do it too. You can have a premier tag team that tours.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an option. If Kenny wants all the singles championships, there's nothing to stop a tag team collecting all the tag team championships. And I think that would be something we'd all want to see. There's so many good tag teams in the world right now. Like you said, you've proven you're better than everyone in Impact. Maybe you're going to have to find out if you're the best in AEW and in Mexico or Japan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you said you didn't know it was going to happen and things like that, but what's your thoughts on it? I mean, how good for the wrestling world could it be with a collaboration with Impact and AEW? I mean, like you said, it could become a territorial thing again. You could have New Japan coming in. You could have other companies like Ring of Honor coming in. I mean, from a fan point, I mean, how cool is that for you to think of those possibilities?
As a fan or a wrestler, I think it's cool. I think any companies working together. I remember when NXT first worked with Evolve, and like just that small little thing of like trading, like one guy stepping down and Chris Hero showing up in Evolve or something. I think it was like you're just like, oh wait, doors are opening now. Like something could happen. The possibilities. Oh, the possibilities, and then the buzz started. Possibilities. Maybe there could be more, and people always want more, but like the difference with this one is like, especially with what Kenny's been saying with the championship, I think people like greatness. People want to know who the best really is, and like there's all this back and forth, especially with like Reddit and Twitter and everything, people like arguing up and down. Like I've been tagged in so many tweets where people say that like the North isn't shit, the Rascals are the best tag team of all time, and you're like, okay. But then, 500 people hop on them and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's just a constant argument. So if we're really going to find out, I mean, this is the best way to do it, is have companies work together and figure it out. Like, I would love to wrestle the Briscoes in Ring of Honor. They've been stuck there for 20 years. Like, if you think about tag team wrestling, the Briscoes never come up as one of the best tag teams when people are arguing about it. But, like, that's because, like, they're only been in Ring of Honor, really. But they are amazing. I've been a fan of them forever. But, like, I'm not like dogging on the Briscoes or anything like that or Ring of Honor by saying that, but like I just think that like there's people that like forget about all these other teams that are not stuck, but like they're signed to other companies.
You're right, and that, like you said, it's back to them than anything, because they've proven for 20 years they are the premier team in Ring of Honor. They've beaten everybody. They've held all the championships. It would be amazing to see the Briscoes going up against, the best that Impact has or AEW. I think they'd be amazing in both companies. And I'm not even asking for like this to happen every week. Just every few months there's an interpromotional match, or that door's open with always having the possibility of some work down the line. As a fan and a wrestler, that would be really exciting to know that the door's just open. And because it's been closed for so many years, I think a lot of wrestling fans, companies, wrestlers have always been in that one-track mind of it has to be a certain way, like companies can't work together. But I feel like that's, just as a fan speaking, a very WWE mentality. It doesn't have to be the same for everybody else. So I think the more people do work together, the better for everybody. And hopefully that's where it's going. I know you said you don't have any clue where it's going, but I think that's why it's exciting. Not knowing where it's going is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know we mentioned a dream match with FTR, but you have faced the Young Bucks before at PWG. What was it like working with the Bucks?
It was monumental for us. We worked with the Bucks. The first time we ever got flown anywhere, we got flown to California as a tag team. And we wrestled the Bucks for a smaller promotion in California called IWL. And then we beat them that night for the tag team championships. And it took a year for us to fly back and try to defend them against them again. And it was in a cage match. And then that's when I had my neck surgery and all this other stuff happened. But that was the reason we got to PWG, because we worked with them and they realized like this is an up and coming badass tag team we can work with. We need more opponents. So we got into PWG, thank God, because of them. And, we made the best of it there. But like, I look at that match now and like, I cringe. Like the North is like, we're eclipse whatever Monster Mafia was. Like we've grown both as singles competitors. We've grown both as a tag team. We've grown as like performers just in general. Like the product we bring to the table now is just, Monster Mafia is unrecognizable in comparison. Like So the match we could have with the Young Bucks, if we ever have that again, like it's going to be a completely different story. It's going to be even bigger than it was. And like, I guess Dave Meltzer said it was 4.25 stars, which, I don't know what the next one would be, but it would definitely have to beat that with my eyes closed. So,
well,
yeah.
One thing, like moving away from tag team wrestling slightly, you mentioned Reddit earlier and people always saying this tag team is the best tag team or whatever. It's one thing I have seen recently is a lot of people saying Josh Alexander could be a world champion on his own. Is that something that we could see down the line? Do you have any interest in, being a world champion solo?
I mean, if I become a singles wrestler, hypothetically, and the reason people are saying this is because some fans of independent companies that follow my work over the past 16 years, every company I go to, I show up, and within the first year, I'll be the champion. Like it's happened that way organically for every company. You can name any company I've been to, AIW, AEW, go on down the line as a singles competitor. I always show up and I always end up winning the championship because, like, me as a wrestler, I'm just a competitor.
Yeah.
I show up and like that's my character, that's my gimmick, like whatever. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna be the most badass wrestler on that show. I'm gonna kill myself trying to win because it's a competition. I want to be the number one contender. I want to get that shot. That's what I'm working for. This is a prize fighting thing for me. So absolutely. if I do become a singles wrestler in Impact, I mean, that will be my sole goal.
That makes sense. And I just want to say, I'm not trying to push you into, not being a tag team, because I think you and Ethan just need to hug it out. Because that would break my heart if you broke. Good luck with that. But I'm sure if you ever did become a singles competitor, like you said, you won't have a hard time picking up a single strap for yourself, wherever it is, or whoever it's against. Because it's a thing that's come up recently on Twitter, Reddit, everywhere we've been. There's everybody saying Josh Alexander has what it takes to be a single star, but I guess it depends what happens in the future.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and like I think everybody is speculating that we're gonna break up and that like I'm gonna throw Ethan Page through a barbershop window or something. I'm never gonna lay a hand on him. I mean, I've said it many times publicly. I'm never gonna. I have one friend on this whole planet. Why would I like get rid of the only friend I have?
Yeah, like it. Honestly, mate, it kind of got me a bit last night. When I was watching the segment with you and Ethan, and you walked out. Ethan looked like he was gonna cry. He was talking into the camera to try and apologize to you, and I was just like, oh, guys, just get it together, because if this goes the way of the barbershop, I'm done.
He's not Ethan Page right now. That's the problem. He's not the same guy. He's got to figure himself out. Like I'm trying to help, but like there's only so much I can do, and like I gotta walk away sometimes because I do have a temper.
You were disappointed. You weren't mad.
Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking of Impact as well, going back to Impact, I said to you before we started recording that I think Impact's been on the best products anywhere at the moment. What would you attribute that to, and what's it like being working with Scott D'Amore and Don Callis?
Working with Scott and Don is always interesting because they're two wrestlers from a different period, and they're very, everybody has a conflicting view of what professional wrestling is there, which I think is what helps lend itself to the company being so successful in recent years, like you say, because even Scott D'Amore and Don Callis, and then you have Tommy Dreamer, and then you have Artie Evans and Jimmy Jacobs, and they're all kind of the ones that write the show. And they're in the writers' room, right? And I think they all have a different perspective on what they would like professional wrestling to be, or a television program to be for wrestling. So you get a little bit of everything in Impact. And I think that's why people like it so much, because you have like something as insane and obscure as like a Wrestler's Court segment or Wrestle House, which to me is not my personal cup of tea of what I want to watch. But when I watch it, I'm extremely entertained because I think the people that were involved with it, like I think Taya and Rosemary and like Cousin Jake, like they shine through in that Wrestle House stuff more than anybody, because Like nobody knew Jake's or cousin Jake had that much charisma. Like I know from hanging out with him that that's that guy, but he's just being himself when he's out there, and he's making me laugh my ass off. And I think Ty and Rosemary together are like, same with Tasha and Kira. Like when you put those two together, let them cut promos, like it's insane. Like they're so entertaining. But then, you know, you also have the flip side where you have really good tag team wrestling. You put the Machine Guns against the North, and you just let us go for 20 minutes. And it's just everybody has a different idea, and it comes together to make that wrestling program.
That's my favorite part of Impact as a fan, is seeing, first of all, one of the biggest moments of this year is the Machine Guns getting back together, because 14-year-old me was losing my shit. So, you know, I was going crazy. But then instantly I was thinking, oh, well, we've got all these new matches, you know, with the old school TNA, the tag team who was the best like 10 years ago, 12 years ago in TNA, against now the best tag team in the current era, putting those two together. And it's been magic watching that. So it must have been great, you know, to get in there with the Motor City Machine Guns. I know you said you better than the Machine Guns hand down, but it must have still been cool, you know, to mix it up with them.
Yeah, like both of us are fans of all like professional wrestling. Like we came up and we were looking at the Kings of Wrestling and Motor City Machine Guns and the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
That's why we became a tag team, because Ethan Page looked at the landscape of wrestling and said, you know, there's 500 wrestlers out there, but there's only like 3 or 4 good tag teams. Like if we become a tag team, we might have a run at this.
Yeah.
And he was right. Like he's a very smart person. He put us together, and we got flown out to California within the first year and a half. Like we made far more waves as a tag team, and like it's because we were fans of the Motor City Machine Guns. And we were as excited as you were when they walked out at Slammiversary.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because we knew that, you know, we would get in the ring with them, we would get to test ourselves against them, and we did.
Well, speaking of teams as well, I mean, what's it been like having the Good Brothers on the roster as well, with them turning up? And can we possibly see the North at Talking Shop at Mania 3? I mean, could it happen?
I think I'm excluded from all those things, because people don't see me as the type of guy that would fit that kind of thing. Like they just want me to work out and beat up people.
That's why you would fit it, though. I'd love to see you in Talking Shop doing the driest humor, you know.
Yeah, there is a large portion of fans that have come to get to know me and realize that just watching my facial reactions will give, you know, people some entertainment.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just, I think people like typecast people in wrestling, and like they get put into certain areas. Like I'm not going to put on a tutu and, you know, do some crazy shit like that. Maybe I would, I don't know, but like, yeah, I don't know about Talking Shop, but having the Good Brothers around is like, it's been great. They're a very popular singles act, plus they're a very popular tag team act that has been around the world, New Japan and WWE. So they bring all their fans to Impact, and then through that, working with them, those fans are now fans of us, because they see us and they're like, who the hell are these guys? I've never heard of them before. I'm tuning in Impact for the first time because I like the Good Brothers. Oh, the North is better than them? Or like, I like this guy so much. And like, it just helps our brand, helps us as a tag team, helps us as singles competitors, helps us all around. And like, Doc Gallows is hands down the funniest person on planet Earth. Like, I don't know if it comes through on screen or in Impact, but like if I'm sitting in the hotel lobby and this guy walks in, I know I'm going to be laughing for 10 minutes. Like, it's just in his like personality. That's what he has to do.
Oh,
so it's awesome.
We had the pleasure of speaking to them a few months ago before the first Talking Shop, and yeah, Gallows had me in stitches. Just his sense of humour. I was in stitches. I really was. I mean, Sex Ferguson. I just followed Gallows on Twitter for the Sex Ferguson videos, because it's just incredibly funny. That the guy is just, he's so good. He's so good.
If he's not making you laugh, I don't think he's happy. Like that's his purpose for being. Like he wants to entertain and make people smile and laugh. So
he is such a funny guy. Great mind for the business. You know, like Talking Shop Mania should not have worked by any means, but because he promoted it as the worst wrestling pay-per-view, it did amazing numbers, and now he's done a second one, doing a third one. It's going to become its own promotion. So yeah, it's just testament to how smart the guy is.
Yeah. Now, we did speak to somebody a couple of weeks ago who spoke very highly of you, and that was Layla Hirsch. We know you two competing against each other. What's your thoughts on working with Layla and what she's doing now at the moment?
I think Layla, I told her this, to her face after that match. I'm not friends with people before I wrestle them usually. Like, I don't care how friendly you are, how nice you are, you know what I mean? It's just like, there's this like connection that people get when you work together and you realize, oh man, you're really good at this. And like, now me and Layla have that connection because we stepped in the ring and I was like, oh, this will be a fine match. Then we went out there and I was just like, she has a presence to her. Yeah. She's 5 feet nothing. She's tiny, but she looks like a female version of Taz to me. Like when she walked out in her entrance and I was looking at her, I was like, Jesus, like, damn, what's going on? And then like she gets in there and like there's a point in that match where like I sell up and like she just like angle slammed me off the top rope. And she's like slapping me in the face and like she's giving it to me and she's like, come on, fucker, come on, get up. And she's like, and I'm like for a minute, I'm like, what the hell? And like the crowd's like picking up on that because like she's a competitor, man. I couldn't be happier for what she's doing now. Like her match with Sheeta was like the craziest way to start anywhere at a company. So like hopefully, I know I won't say hopefully because I know it's only going to be up from here for her. Like she's super talented.
I did see that match you had with her at the Collective, and I mentioned to Layla, it blew me away, that match, because usually if there's a match with anybody who's, let's say, 5 feet against a guy who's 6'3", 4", whatever, I'd be like, all right, well, he's going to kill him. But when I was watching Layla against you, it was almost like I didn't have a hard time believing she was, really beating you up a bit. It was that good, but that was also testament to how good both of you were working together. It takes 2 of you to do that. And she actually said afterwards it was her favorite match. You against her was her favorite match of her career so far. And she said she learned a lot from it and she wants to do it again. So you've definitely made a fan in Layla too.
I'm very happy for that. Like when I step in, especially intergender wrestling, like I'm not good at it. That's the thing I say, because like, especially where I live in Ontario, I've been wrestling for so long and I'm such like a killer here. Like I walk out and people are like, Josh is going to kill whoever it is. I don't care if it's a guy, girl, a giant, it doesn't matter. Josh is going to kill that person. So when a 5'0" person walks in, like they're automatically going to be like, oh man, what's going to go on? And like, I told her, I was just like, you got to hit me as hard as you can. I was like, don't worry about me, because they think that I'm destroying you with everything. So if they're going to have any belief that you're actually making me like hurt, like you got to actually hit me. And she was like, okay. And like, she didn't have a problem with it, obviously. It takes a lot to make people like actually invest in something like that, no matter like the size. Like I would do the same thing if it was like Leo Rush or something, just for the size difference. And like there is something to that. And like, yeah, if you make it all make sense, it's easy to watch.
It definitely worked. It really did. Like like I said, with any other match where there was that height and weight difference, I would think, oh, you're just going to kill that guy. But with Layla, it was like there was times where I actually thought she had it won. And that just shows how, you said to her, lay into me, and she did. You could tell, because there was times where I was like, oh, God, you could feel the strike she was doing. She was really going for it. So hopefully that's a match we might, see again down the line. So I'd want to see it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. I would love to anytime.
Before we start to wrap up and let you go as well, I noticed when you was on the indie scene, you wrestled in the UK for Progress. How did you find the wrestling in the UK, the British scene?
It was cool. I got to wrestle for a bunch of different companies. I got brought out by Southside, and they kind of let me pick up bookings wherever I could, and I was lucky to get on Progress. But they were running while I was there. But it's wrestling is like universal, no matter what language or where it is. There's different ways crowds are, but like that Progress crowd was up there with the PWG crowd in Reseda. Like it's a different vibe, but like the pro wrestling speaks for itself. It was awesome. I got to be in the ring with British Strong Style, who are like one of the most over acts in this entire like part of the world. So like it was a very easy sell to be in the ring like that night. So
Did you get
it was a blast.
Like did you get any chants from the Progress crowd?
I got something about my bra being on my head or something.
Right.
Yeah, I guess there's like a soccer chant about that, and my headgear is apparently a bra.
Some of the chants really hit and miss. Some of them are great and really add to a match. Some of them just don't make any sense.
Well, I got that one 3 separate times while I was in the UK. So
apologies on the behalf of Britain.
People like to dog on the headgear, but it served me very well. So
I love that. Before we wrap up, I mean, the headgear, I only found out recently you do have a legitimate reason for it. Like wearing it in your match is a legit thing. You're wearing it to actually stay protected because of an injury you had. And when I found that out, I thought that's even more badass. What's the usual reception to you wearing the headgear? Because I think you are the only wrestler around who does.
I get like headphones or like what's her name, Princess Leia chants sometimes at like smaller shows, but any show that has at least like 3 or 4 fans that know who I am, like, and like for the most part, especially at indie shows, when I walk out to the ring, like I look far more imposing than most people on the show.
Yeah.
So most people don't really want to say anything anymore. So when I first started wearing it, man, it was I would get like barking chants, like Rick Steiner, stuff like that.
Of course, yeah.
Well, you're better looking than Rick Steiner anyway. You're no dog-faced gremlin, if that helps.
I mean, so far. It could all change.
Well, before we let you go, Josh, is there anything you want to plug, promote your social medias and your merchandise?
Check out me on Instagram and Twitter, walking_weapon. Through that, you can find my Teespring store and stuff like that in the bio. And if you want to support and buy a shirt, thank you very much. Otherwise, just thanks for all the support and being a fan. Come along for the ride because it's just getting started.
Hell yeah. Well, we can't thank you enough, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. We are huge fans. We know there's going to be more championships in the future, tag team and solo. We think, we know. So thank you so much, Josh. It's been an absolute pleasure. He is the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. We are Ringsiders.